or the new one?
The new one. Hello and welcome. What's up, new and old subscribers? Hello and welcome. Perfect. Okay. Do you guys want to say hi in the chat? Sorry for the late delay. I thought I sent a message earlier, but apparently not. Too busy trading.
Busy.
Just want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. Audio levels are fine. Says 8 waiting still.
It does say that over here as well. I'm in chat. I don't see anybody talking yet.
Peak indicator says, hey. Can you hear me, Peak? What's poppin', Kevin?
Oh, there's Peak. Wow, mine's like delayed.
G'day, JC. Crayful, dude. What's up, man? Joining us for the live stream. Okay, well, we got a nice pop on KMD. That was a trade from yesterday, a continuation trade. Nice little 4% pop. Ardor, we didn't mention Ardor. What were the other ones that we were talking about?
Oh man, there was a bunch.
Chain, just
oh yeah, freaking Wan.
Heavens to Betsy. Let's see if we hit any Fibonacci levels on this recent move here. We're not quite to the 1618, but we are finding support at the 1272 at the moment from this move all the way down. So I expect probably 441 topside move to be 618. We're looking for a pullback now. Might not get the pullback that we're looking for though. Let's see. We'll cover Bitcoin in just a second. I'm just gonna go through a few altcoins. Juan had a nice move. You know, I was between Juan and K and C for the setups. I didn't notice the crazy fundamentals that were going on with Juan chain. So it looks like we hit the 61.8. It'd be ideal if this can close above it. Otherwise, this thing's probably gonna pull back. Whoops. Sorry. No, we're not at 618 yet. So the 618 lines up with about the 1618. We're finding support on the 1272. So about 445, I expect at least a pullback from there. And then we'll see if it hits any of this support here. I don't think this is going to just continue to go straight up, but it is crypto. Anything is possible. I don't think the fundamentals are that strong. I haven't seen proof of stake be a bullish catalyst for anything. Or at least not that I remember. Okay, so let's take a look at Bitcoin. Who's ready for some CFD tomorrow? Canes all day. Oh, that starts tomorrow? Oh, whew. I'm a Michigan State Spartan fan. They've had a couple of odd seasons, but I like it. I dig it. They've done well with what they've got. Okay, so we are coiling at resistance right now. Was hoping for a pullback where we could enter a nice little scalp long. Haven't gotten that pullback yet. I think that this is pretty hardcore resistance right at basically 10,600. 10,600. I don't know if we're going to crack that in one go unless we get like a pretty gnarly short squeeze. And so that's kind of like short-term resistance. As I mentioned in the update this morning, this was like basically my first resistance point, and then I thought we'd come back down. If we didn't find support, then I thought we were going to break back down to the 9,800 and possibly lower. If we do break through this, then it's possible that we head all the way back up to 11.5, 11.6, where we've got this pretty consistent resistance that lines up with the Fibonacci level. But we do have the daily moving average. Go Buckeyes. Well, Buckeyes and Spartans were kind of on the same team. Just fuck Michigan, right? You're tired, babe. Lay on the bed.
Tired.
She didn't want to do the stream tonight. Okay, so if we look at just our templates, if we pull up our moving averages. So the daily moving average for the 20 MA, still up here. The 50 MA is kind of creeping down in a bearish, is basically pulling down in a bearish stance now, which that lines right up with the 10,800 level, which is that kind of intermediate support. And then up here is the 10,900 zone for the 20 MA. Overall, the context of the market is still bearish. This was a scalp long that you could have taken this morning. But the range just overall in the last day was about 3 to 4%. So nothing like, nothing too crazy. I mean, we could have definitely tried to enter in on this 100 MA. It has supported it 1, 2, 3, 4. I just like more trend resolutions, and the way that altcoins were setting up and the way that altcoins were looking, it did look like Bitcoin was just going to continue out and kind of meander sideways for a while. And so that's kind of what I was planning on. Oh, LOL, yes, sir. Okay, so we also have a couple different patterns still. We've got this potential descending triangle still kind of forming. But a better way to look at this is more of a symmetrical triangle, especially the way that these supports have kind of given us here. So it's more of a symmetrical triangle. And the thing about symmetrical triangles is, I'm going to just remove all this stuff. The thing about symmetrical triangles is there's really not a great edge. I mean, we've got context because we've formed lower high, lower high, lower high, but we are in a macro bullish uptrend. And so the only way we know the resolution of the trend is by breaking down here or breaking up here. Now, you can definitely take early entry, riskier entries by buying support and then selling resistance. That's one strategy. You can short resistance and long support in just kind of this range pattern until it breaks one way or another. And then you can buy the breakout and retest. And sometimes these breakout retests are not like, one daily candle comes all the way up and then comes back down. Sometimes it's just like a little, hourly candle, and that's all you get. And sometimes the level gets front ran, and sometimes it'll do this and then that. And then other times, if you don't have confirmation, it just bull traps everybody, and it comes down, and then it comes right back into the channel. So, there's different ways to play this. The safest strategy is just to wait for the resolution of the trend. And so that's kind of what I'm waiting for, specifically because we have lower high, lower high. We've got basically a trend line that's forming. If we can break through and bust that, then yeah, we can definitely long this to, up to here. But the way that these sellers are controlling the market, I mean, you can see here, we had this nice decent like push up, but just another 13% candle down, 13% candle down. So it's like, it's a little bit risky in this area, even though you're seeing like nice buy support, just because, we had this nice little breakout and then they put it down 10%. So they're just kind of hunting stops both up and down, and people are just getting really, really chopped up. And so it's better to just kind of sit on your hands until you get more of a discernible edge. I feel like it used to go up when stocks went down. Well, it went up a little bit this morning. I mean, we've got, a 3.7, 3.45% move, and that's basically it popped right when the trade announcement happened with Donald Trump. I don't know if you guys saw that, but China tariffs.
Oh yeah.
75 billion. Well, Trump just said he's going to raise existing tariffs on Chinese goods to 30%. So we're about to see like all of our electronics and clothes and everything get super expensive. But hopefully, if we hold Bitcoin, then we can buy that stuff.
Well, before that, he ordered all U.S. companies.
Yeah,
to start
FedEx.
seeking.
No, I know.
He said, if you get anything from China, I want you to start today looking for other options.
It's gonna be huge.
And it was like the Dow was down 200, and like that, it's like, oh, well, the Dow slips 500. Oh, now 600. I think we closed 800 down, 900 down. It was unreal.
Did you Trump's tweets are shitting on my birthday. Very, very true. Yeah, so we can look at the S&P real quick. The SPY.
I was gonna
right back down. I mean, this looks like a classic little bear flag, but most likely this is like the 200 MA on the daily or something that we're back at again. Let me take a look. Yeah, 200 EMA. So supporting it now. So I mean, this has been a pretty good area to long. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Basically, we're bouncing between 250, 250, 250. But this one came up and got rejected by the 20 this time. And that 20 is looking pretty gnarly. That is fast descending. So this looks like just basically like a classic bear flag, ready to break to the downside. But we do have this 200 MA on the bottom side. And where's the 200 MA on the weekly here? 200 MA weekly is all the way down here at the 249 level. So, 11, 12, 13% drop. Do I see that breaking? Well, it's held it up, one, two. It was resistance here, solid short opportunity back there, 16%. But that was 2007 to 2010. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So, that would probably be the biggest drop I'd see is 13% at 249, and then they'll probably announce trade tensions or eased or something like that. Okay, so XBT USD. If you guys want me to put out some scalp trades, I mean, there's been plenty of scalps, but they're just so fast moving. I haven't really felt comfortable with the skill level that's in the group. So if you are new to margin trading, that looks like an ascending broad wedge actually. We're sitting right on that hourly 200 MA right now. We bounced off it this morning, and we're kind of just consolidating on top of the 200 and the 200 EMA. We did that before, but we got rejected by this top line resistance, and then we just broke right down. So that's kind of what I'm watching for right now. And I mean, I can put out tons and tons of scalp plays. I mean, I play, I don't know, 20 a day, 20 or 30 a day on alts and Bitcoin. And so I can post a lot of them, but just make sure that you're, using proper risk management. My strike rate's been, somewhere between 65 and 70%. I do have an algo. I'm going to start beta testers in that. And that's been highly accurate. A lot of the signals have been coming out at like 2, 3 in the morning. So I haven't been able to issue them into the community. But if you're awake and if you're in the time zone where you can take those trades, it's been crushing it. It was short back here. It issued a scalp long at like 10,100. So 2.89% or 2.8%. But on 10x, that's a nice little 28% move. And when the overall trend is bearish, but it issues a scalp, I'll always close my positions, and then I'll just go long for a little scalp session. And sometimes that scalp will flip into a full trend reversal. But when you got this ascending broad wedge, I usually like to see these resolve to the downside. I think as we get closer to the daily or maybe right after USDT scalps would be awesome. Okay. I'll start watching those charts a little bit more. I'm almost entirely a Bitcoin trader. I know some of my analysts, they just trade USDT, but I will start throwing those, or I'll start doing scans on those as well. Okay. I am going to go get my daughter to bed. I am very sad I'm going to be missing this daily close. I think it's going to be a fun one. Just remember, guys, it is the weekend and volumes are poor. So this is not the best trading environment. I prefer to trade on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Those are like my biggest trading days. But I do trade sometimes here. I did issue a few trades. I want to go through those really quick. Dusk did hit that trend line for about 3%. Nothing like too crazy. Had this nice little pop for about 3 to 4%. What was the other one? Loom.
You got bats out there. That's a signal.
Ooh,
signal.
Yeah. Loom's looking nice. It's getting a nice little spike up. Came down, tested my 50 MA on the hourly. We've got 2 trend lines here. So somebody's asking about trend lines. So if you use the wicks, which I like to use the wicks because it shows me the full range. But what you can do is you can basically just set this trend line. If you went through the 21-day challenge, you'll know that I talked about this with trend lines. You can just use 2 different trend lines. You can use body closes as well as the wick, so it gives you like the full range of potential buy zones. Right now, I'd like to see this get reclaimed, but we're sitting on the 50 MA, so I mean, I think I sent it out at like 322 or something like that, with a 1.5% risk. I'm targeting literally like 5%, 9%. It's possible that it continues higher, even up to, this range over here. I mean, so maybe 6%. But just a little 4% trade, little 4-to-1 RR. Aeon had a great pop. That was the one that I mentioned on yesterday's live stream. Basically, all the Interoperability Alliance had a nice move. WAN, Aeon, and ICX. In the grand scheme of things, though, just kind of looking at this from a high level. We have a really large ways to go. We do have a little bit of a bullish divergence on the weekly, and we're coming out of oversold territory. So, I mean, this could be a decent one to scale into in the 70 to 80 range. The hourly, you can see we had this, and this is what I was looking for. I think I posted the chart. I was looking for basically just a pullback back down into this zone here. This was a key level. All our moving averages are starting to turn up, and I don't think this is super sustainable. We're kind of like pretty maxed out over here, so I imagine we'll get a pullback. Where to? I think probably like the 82 to 85, which would happen with a big Bitcoin breakout. And then BAT gave us a real nice entry, and looks like it's forming a little bit of a bull flag now. Our entry zone was literally the 1900 to I think 1930, and it came right down to that bottom zone. I got a 1901 fill, which was on my 50/20, and it had a nice little pop here. If you want to kind of de-risk a little bit, you can set it just below that nice little bounce, or just even down here. I think I had the stop down here, but if you want to tighten that up a little bit, we did have that nice bounce, nice tweezers on there off the 2050. And so I like how this looks. I think it's got some nice strength, nice little breakout of the pattern here. And this looks exactly like Aeon did. Nice little strong resistance level, came down, tested it, and now it's pushing up. And you can see the RSI. We're on the 40 level on the 4 hour, up here on the 56. And then the daily is not quite out of the bearish control zone, but we did have some pretty strong resistance right here, and we're kind of up there now, but everything else is pointing to a nice move up, especially because we're above the 20 right now. So that's what I'm seeing on BAT. Was there anything else? Oh, FET. FET also gave us a really nice buy zone. Bottom of the buy zone was 620. And I give the bottom of the buy zones because that's kind of where I'm looking. And we got basically our 620 buy zone, 615. So now from the 620, the trade is up about 2%. And so, you could set your stop losses a little bit tighter around 615 if you want, just to lower the risk down to like basically, next to nothing. My goal is to set those nice bottom buy zones to get as close to invalidation / support so that we can really keep our risk low. But what I see on this one and why I like it is a potential Adam and Eve. Looks like we've got a nice rounding out, nice falling wedge sitting on support. And I see those a lot of times just have really nice breakouts to the upside. And so that's what I'm looking at. And we've also had some nice volume and a little double bottom on the RSI. And then Sealer, this is one that I am considering cutting. We're at the 76 level. On the 4 hour here, we are barely trying to hold on to this 100 MA. So if we dip down to 75, I might just cut the trade, just because we lost our trend line here, and I just wasn't liking the way this looked. So I was really hoping we got a nice close back above, but this is a trade that I might consider cutting. I did take profit at the 84 level. About 50%, but I still do have 50% of my trade in here, just slightly underwater. So definitely something to watch. Yeah, Sealer's not looking the best. We did lose that trend line, and so this is a trade that I would, I'm waiting to see how this daily closes. If it does close bad, you could just close it, move on to another trade. There's better looking trades. Raven had a nice pop. We were looking at this to take a position yesterday. Right now we're testing the 200 MA, and I expect probably a pullback from here. A little bit overbought on the RSI on the 4 hour. And then what else was I looking at? Juan has been a crazy intraday little killer today. Oh, ZRX. ZRX was another one, but you can see what they're doing. They're coming right up to that 200 EMA, 200 MA, and that's a massive sell down there. But ZRX looked like we were in like a strong accumulation range. And then we're actually coming right down to that support. The other one was XRP, believe it or not. Every time I try to buy this coin, I feel like it just reminds me every time never to buy the coin. It's like the boy who cried pump. Okay, so we're in this trading range. If you look at our Fibonacci levels, we're basically testing the 618. But this looks like a bottoming out structure. It's kind of got this nice little sine wave, very, very solid, easy, predictable range. higher low, low, higher low, flat on top. And so this just looks like it's accumulating. If you can get it, as close to this 2560 level as possible, and then just cut the trade if it breaks 2400, that's like completely invalidated. But this 2600 zone has been super historic on to the daily. 2600 zone goes back to here, this level. It is possible that we get a breakdown similar here, like a little bull trap. And if that's the case, 1200, try and knife catch that 1200 level would be pretty key, because but there's a lot of people watching this. A lot of people are saying this thing's going to move. Some of the best traders in the space, a lot of them are into this pretty heavy. It did break this downtrend resistance on the daily. I'm going to zoom in for you guys so this is a little bit better. It did break this downtrend resistance on the daily, and then it retested it. We're trying to capture the 20. The 20 is not above the 50. But yeah, this thing could come back down, touch 2400, and then push up. But it does have this history of test, and then zoom, all the way down to 1200. Okay, that's most of what I was looking for. Engine was another trade I was watching for. It looks like we pulled back to our entry, and then we got 5 minutes to go on the close, and then I'm gonna let Chinggis take over. We pushing up? Yeah, we're basically just holding that 11,400 level. If we close at 11,400, we're testing the 7 EMA on the daily right now. But basically doji, nice breakout from here. I think right after we close, we'll probably see maybe like a small little 1% push up for like a swing fail, come up and then reject us down hard off that 10,550 level. Like we saw back here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we might push up 10,550 and then a quick little 2-3% drop. So I do have some shorts I'm laddering in. I've got 10,450. I entered a short that's slightly in profit. And then I'm going to add one more at 10,550, and I'll probably cut the trade if we break this 200 EMA and break out here, just because I don't want to be holding that if we break out with some volume or strength. So, but it is Friday, so I don't think the volume will be there. So we've got about 1 minute. I'm gonna let Chinggis take over, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.
All right, 18 seconds before we shut it down. We'll see what the beginning of the weekend is going to give us. This is the 15-minute chart here. You can see from the volume profile, that is where it started. That's where we were yesterday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 and 1, and we have closed it down. So as far as how the day started, it was a good start, good push up. Found a level from yesterday. Bang. Yesterday's lower end close high, dropped it back down, higher low. Pulled support on the 100 MA, no problem. Pushed, big push up, and then we're just in this consolidation range now. So the actual daily chart, like this. So daily, once again, we are sitting on our 100, found support 4 times, push up twice. We have this level right here, right where the cursor's at, as resistance. So we did break and close above it finally. Right now, look a little closer. Okay, right here, the red line coming in, that's your 7 EMA on the daily chart, right? That was our resistance level. Earlier today, the big push was to the 9. So we pushed all the way up. We got right to the 9 EMA, shut it down, and then came right here, and we ended up closing underneath the 7 EMA. So for a minute, we were trading above the 9, then we lost the 9, then we were being propped up by the 7. We lost the 7, so not good. I have a case for a bullish move. All right, so with harmonics, when you look at price action in like Fibonacci's, right, and the way things move, the way you get your pullbacks, the way you get your wicks, like everything, right? So this is kind of you know what? I'll show you on a different chart actually. It's a little easier to see. All right, so there you go. There you go. You got a white background. Hope you're happy. So this is a bearish bet, but almost, right? B is not qualified by about 11.11 something percent. It's super close. But you know, we've seen these play out even with the quality of the pattern getting a little wrecked. Anyway, your X would be like the top of your impulse move down, big push down, right? Here's your A. Your A is price reversal. B is your pullback from X to A. C is the drawdown off of B after the pullback from A, from X to A. You got your B, drop back down. Failed to make a lower low, so swing low on the high side right from the bottom up. That brings you to a level of D. Now, D has to be within a certain range for it to be considered a pattern, right? So right now, it's just an idea. But again, that's why I said I have an argument to make on the bullish side. And that would be if, if 4 out of 5 are good and we realize the pattern, this is what I think will play out. We'll push up, we break the 50, we break the 20, we come up to our trend swing fail line, break the swing fail line, come up but fail to make a higher high, push us back down right here on the trend. That's the 382 from A to D. That's your first take profit on a bearish bet. And your second take profit on a bearish bet would be this little green box right here. That's the 618 from A to D. So that would leave us with take profit 1, take profit 2, re-entry of the bigger symmetrical triangle, which would give us our last final touch, which should break like that. Double top, back in the channel, stayed within the channel the whole time, never violated price action, stayed within channel, stayed within symmetrical triangle, except the one false break, which is what I'd be looking for. Recovery on the 100, so we're away from the 100, right? The 100 is going to creep up as price goes up. That's how that works, right? It's going to drag it along with it ever so slightly and eventually make it into the channel itself. This previous resistance line for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days will become support. Flip it, support it, push it. Final break out. Don't know. But that's what I'm looking at right now. That's I like looking at possibilities and options. So, that's my case for a bullish move, right? Even though it's a bearish pattern, you got to get bullish to get from C to D. All right, so back to the Bitcoin chart. So let's just go over the numbers real quick. We opened up at 10,105. We had a high of 10,478. A low down to 10,035, closed it out at 10,410. So giving us a total of $303 up, or a dead even 3%. All right, so pretty good overall, all things considered. It's exactly what we thought as far as EMAs were considered. We brought it right up to the 9, brought it right down to the 7, and then we sort of ping-pong back and forth ever since. So we didn't get anything accomplished except for the initial move. Now the next move, since we closed under the 7, that's bearish. It's unfortunate because we were like literally right there. But if we can get past that, then the next target is that 50 MA on the daily chart. So this is the 4-hour chart. And you can just see, right? You can see how this whole level right here was just all resistance. And then when you got a break, it was a violent break, right? We got a nice break. And then look at the current price action, the last 4 hours. Well, these are the last 8 hours and, 7 minutes. But just flat, right? Two 4-hour periods. So 8 hours of just nothing, really nothing. 0.14%, $14 and $16 on a 0.16%. So not much happening there. Hourly chart gets a little bit more interesting because you can see everything that took place today as far as when the candle opened, right? We took a brief little push down, ended up giving our first higher low though, and then a nice break to the upside, but it ended up being a double top from yesterday. And then we dropped down again, but again, higher, right, than before. Now, hourly chart, you can see this level right here, right? That's your 50 MA on the hourly chart, right? Everything's totally different. 20 has been, slightly supporting this trend the whole time, right? This area here. They're looking to about converge right now and then go for a bullish crossover if you're able to get price action higher, right? So if you do end up pushing higher, right, you'll have a 2100 cross to the bullish side on the hourly chart. It's something that traders consider, so you need to consider it as well. It doesn't matter whether you like it or not. It matters if other people trading it are going to look at that as bullish and then start buying. All right, so what do you want me to look at here? Oh, he's got that filter on. Looks a little weird with that filter. All right, let's see. Seller ETH USD for Kevin Lewis. Adam, a hodl, lazy trade. Jacob should be able to answer that. I don't know. I didn't see a signal for Adam, so not 100% sure. When he gets back, just ask him. So ETH USD. All right, let's take a look. All right, ETH USD. Let's go to the daily chart. Whoa. All right. Yeah, so we had this sort of possible slanted head and shoulders. I know nothing to see here, but it's fun to look at. Let's see. High side, low side put us right about the 618 for now. We're just kind of consolidating right here. It actually looks like a diamond bottom. So diamond bottoms typically would break to the upside. So diamonds look like this. So you'd have like bang. Well, not the best diamond. Bang, 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 bang. And then you do this. Bang, 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 bang. There you go. Diamond bottom. So the idea with diamonds are, like it would look a lot better on an hourly chart. So you can actually see the action inside of it as opposed to just a couple of big candles. So not the greatest diamond, at all. But the thought is there. It's similar in action. What we'd be looking for diamond bottoms is basically an area of accumulation, a spike to the high side, a spike to the low side, and then reaccumulation. If this happens towards with a prevailing downtrend, or at least a downtrend preceding it, then you're looking for bullish activity. If this happens at the top of a trend, you look for bearish activity. All right, so that's the hourly. Let's take a look at the 4 hours, see if we have any confirmation on anything over here. All right, so you do have a bullish 720 flip. That's the crossover right here. All right, that's the yellow line crossing underneath the red and white. So that's bullish. You do have a bearish 50 crossing above the 20. But again, this action, I don't love the action on sharp reversals because you'll have all this convergence come in here. Like look how lazy, look how lagging these things are. Yeah, I mean they'll work their way in. Obviously the 20s faster and the EMAs are like super fast. But something like the 50, it's just like sort of like dragging behind. Like price is already reversing and 50's just getting to the party. You know what I mean? It's It's 2:30 in the morning. It's raging for like 4 dudes, but like everybody else went home. And he's like, let's do it, man. Let's get naked. So I don't like that convergence. Like, put it this way. I wouldn't put any weight into a 50-20 bearish crossover here. It just showed up. Like, it just finally got here. So I personally don't put any weight in that. Not until later on. You know, I want to see like an established trend and then show me that the 20 is dipping underneath the 50, and then I'll pay attention. But for right now, not so much. Now the 27 EMA or 9 EMA, those you could pay a little bit more attention to because it's faster reaction. You know what I mean? Look at that reaction, right? Well, first off, 7-9 are going to like hug price. Then you got the 20 EMA coming in, big, huge nosedive, right? But at the cross, if you bought, you would have gotten all of that. Pretty cool. At the cross here, if you bought, you would have at least gotten all of this. Pretty cool. All right. So I like to look at these on 4 hours and dailies. These are important levels up here. 200, 100 on a 4-hour chart. You know, look at previous action, right? That's what I always say. Just look at what it did last time to get an idea on how people trade this thing. Huge nosedive, came down. There's your 720 cross, pull back up, push down, right? Now you're just sort of consolidating, little meandering action. And when all is said and done, right, you came right to your 200 and you failed. All of this you can attribute to the one failure. You actually tested, even more important, you tested the 200 MA right here. You wicked right to it. So I like that. And that's what I look for. You know, I'm not looking for a huge home run, right? I would be perfectly fine with bringing this up to the 200 again. You know, it's 8%, right? It's more than most people trading stocks make in an entire year on their portfolio. Not to say you go all in, but the fact that you could pull 8% from a trade is fantastic. Now, the thing is, do you have a trade, right? Is this going to attempt like all the other guys are going to attempt? Well, then you got to start looking at like support resistance and seeing what's going on here. So here's an obvious level of support, an obvious level of resistance. That's clearly an area that we need to break through. You do have a low, and then you do have a higher low. So again, something to look at. Right now, you got a bit of a channel, at least with the diamond, and you take this guy here and do something like that. Say, all right, well, now I got body support, wick support, body support, bang, bang, good, right? So I'll lose this for now. You don't need all these lines on here. I could leave the diamond. I'll leave the outer part of the diamond. We'll get rid of all that. And we say, okay, so what do we have here? We got accumulation, push up, drawdown over 100%. Right? Push up higher than previous structure. So now we're consolidating in this ballpark here, but also right on fibs, right? It's our 618. It's kind of a big deal. So you get the 618, what's your target? The 5, right? So, or where do you think is going to go next? 7.0 or 7.8, right? So I feel like majors right now, if Bitcoin, so put it this way, if Bitcoin has a move to the upside, the majors should also have a move to the upside. If Bitcoin remains sideways, right, the majors will eventually break their consolidation pattern and probably push to the upside, especially if dominance goes down, right? We had a bit of dominance, uproar today, but, not much, all things considered. So the likelihood of the majors getting some play is, I think is pretty good right now. And if we take that into consideration and we take a look at any patterns that we may have, then we say, okay, when this thing, finishes, a breakout on here. So you can like tighten this up now that you're in the 4 hour. Do something like that. Keep that there. You can push this down here. And this is like historical. So, I mean, whatever. It doesn't even matter. This is what you care about, right? You care about a break to the downside or a break to the upside. This is like, whatever. That already happened. So if you do, you got a breakout to the upside, then I'd be targeting more than likely the 200 MA 4 hour chart. Now you want to see what it looks like on the daily though. You just want to make sure you confirm that that makes sense. So what I look for on here is major levels of structure on a daily and major MAs that could really come and haunt us. You do have a structure level down here, which is clearly much lower than what we'd be targeting, right? So we're targeting right here on the 4 hour chart. It's like, it's an okay level on the daily, but it's not great. You know, the better level is here just underneath it. That's your price came down, up, middle support, push up. This is your low before the high that brought you your current low. So, I mean, it's more or less your swing low. So that would be a level that I would think would be more important. So if I was just looking for a quick rip, and by quick, I do mean like 1 to 2 days ballpark. If you do get a breakout of here, right, then that's a decent buy. The problem is though, the break, right? Let's say the break happens all the way up here. Right now, you're 6.5%. Right? That's so some people aren't okay with 6.5%. Me personally, I'm totally cool with it. Totally cool with it. So yeah, ETH, I think you can make a case for some bullish moves. You know, overall, the prevailing trend, you know, on the local level, this is, you know, a daily chart, is, you know, you got a local bull, right? Or up, I should say. You know, clearly the macro is down. You got a high, a low, and a lower high. So, you know, clearly it's down. But look at these levels. This is why I love TA. So come over here. You got your, now this is Binance, right? So it has very little history. But this is the low side, right? It's the break to the upside. Big wick down on the bottom. But look at the accumulation area right here. Right? And just throw something on the accumulation zone. Bang. Look at what you got. Come over here. Bang. On the money. Came down, resistance, bang, double top, drop, push up again, bang, more resistance, push out, bang, resistance again. And what do you get? A major breakout, right? So just like we looked at on the last chart, you know, these are setups that, I mean, not that, but these are setups I look at towards like possible reversals. I look for that move. I look for that level that's keeping everything down. You know what I mean? And then I wait for the big break. So we get the big break on a daily, then I can switch to like a 4 hour, catch a pullback, probably back to a 7 or a 9 EMA, pick it up, and then ride it out. You know what I mean? Now, would I have known to get out at this exact level at the top? Well, probably not, but close to it. You know, that's where you got to start using EMAs, local EMAs, historical data. So like I would have probably brought it, if I was all the way down here and I was looking at this structure, I'd be looking at this level right here without any like in this ballpark. So without any EMAs, MAs, Fibonacci's, nothing, just straight up structure. I'd be looking at, I'm looking here, then I'm looking here, and then I look to my right and I'm like, dude, that's perfect, right? You didn't hit it, but look how close you were. 375, 370. So you're taking this trade down here on a break. You're going to front run your entry. And of course, you couple that with some confluence from something. But let's say you even bought the top of the candle. And let's say you marked it all the way up, right? All the way up to your line, ripped out 27%. So you front ran it, you know, a lot, like all the way down here. Still 22%. All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. And that's on a major too, right? No liquidity issues. No, no, I'm not going to get my order filled or I got to worry to get out. Like trading majors is fantastic, but they're usually they're slow movers. You know what I mean? You don't get that big rip like you do on WAN, you know what I mean? It's just not the same. All right. ETH, Adam. Yep. Good. ETH again. I got you, Kevin. I got you, man. Is that all right, Kevin? You cool with that? If you're not, let me know. Matthew, XRP, USDT. Fellow USDT trader. All right, so. All right. Yeah. Good. Yeah. All right. So the major daily double bottom currently is playing out. It's this right here and this right here. So a wick down and then right here, a wick down. Pretty intense. Now, this was preceded by a major intense drop, while this is preceded by accumulation to a candle drop. Very different. Bowl shape with a break to the downside. It's almost like, you can't call this a cup and handle because it's not, but visually speaking, it's kind of like, price slowly worked down, accumulated for a while, broke out of range, right? Had this level right here of full resistance, just could not get over that level. And that is the 618 of this move, this local move, right? And then failed. Since then, 886 and literally all the way back down to the 1. So it's a perfect double bottom. So now we take a look a little closer, daily chart, and we see what's shaking over here. Here's your move at play. And here's what the daily has to tell you. Accumulation, broke to the south side, retested the box. So what you do with this, you drag it over. If you accumulated here, broke to the downside, you still got all those wicks above, right? You still got orders up there. Still have sellers up top. So a push to the downside, break up, retest, drop back down, huge candle. Nice buyback. Sideways consolidation, 1 day break, right back to your 7 and 9 EMAs, closed above, attempted 20, failed, attempted 20 again, failed, double top, tweezer almost. Support on the 7-9, lost it the next day. So now you're bearish. Another drop. Retest to the high side 7-9, failed. Push below. Both times, almost a tweezer bottom, higher low. Push up again yesterday, first bullish move, break and close above the 7 and 9. All right, so this back and forth dance that XRP is having just makes for this case right here, accumulation. But before we go and scream accumulation, let's see what we got. So if we look at just the pattern itself, okay. Now we have a defined range from which we could trade up and down. XRP you can long and short. So you have opportunities. Pitchfork from reversal, right? Up, down. Pitchfork comes in, it's already unhealthy. It's an unhealthy trend, right? You're barely trading in the heart line. South of the heart line, drop down to the next level, drop all the way down, right? 1, 2 levels, bang, push. Underneath, reclaimed right away, 4 days. Push back up, work your way into level 2. Level 2 is good. Trend is getting stronger in accumulation. Interesting. Up one more level, a test to the south side of the heart line, no dice. Failure, push back down. And then again, you go from that, third tier right to the bottom, right? You did that right here. Third tier, bang, right to the bottom. Third tier, bang, right to the bottom. Accumulation, up one level, up another level, back to the third level, and now you're dancing back and forth. So you can see Pitchfork wants to go back, right? So this is picture like a giant magnet going back to accumulation. This is where price wants to be for now, right? If I put the volume profile on, you probably see nodes like, all the way out here. Traders love this area, and that's why they want price to go back to that area. So you could play this two ways. The conservative trader is going to wait for the break and close above, retest, buy the pullback, push up, probably back to range, either south side of range, right? Or an indication within range that makes sense. So an indication within range that could make sense would be a 50 MA on a daily chart. That's cool. You have to break over the 20 just to do that. So it's not a freebie. It's going to take some work. It's also a 17% move on XRP, which does not happen all the time. It's not a common occurrence. Oh, I'm sorry. That's to the 70. That's to the 50. So 13. 13 is doable. Ideally, you'd like to get up to the 200 or test the 100. That'll only come with a lot of strength and a lot of volume, and we don't have barely any volume, right? I mean, considering you're pretty far under average. Momentum is pushing. Last 2 days to the north. Did have a squeeze break south earlier. That's that move down there. All right, so you have convergence, or at least you have agreement with price over here. Oh, geez, I don't want to do that. So as far as like RSI is concerned, now MACD's was interesting here. So your low side MACD is pretty heavy. Let me put this on. So follow the cursor. Bang. You'll see the low side, right? MACD, right here. This little nudge of activity. That was the start. Look at where it's sat right here. It's like on the zero line. That was the start. So it was thinking like it was coming down. It was just about converged at that point. And then they converged right here on a huge drop. The interesting part is as price came back up, the MACD continued to go down. So it kind of like built in this little cushion that dropped it. And now you're crossed over again. So yeah, I'll have to see how that plays out. I'm cool with this though. I like to see a break though. Look at that on like a 4-hour chart and just kind of see what the candles are telling you. Is it even all that interesting? So like right here, right on a 4-hour chart, like I don't like this pattern because look at all this dead space. Like I'm relying on an angle, to give me clarity. And I'm relying on one wick that has like nothing to do with the rest of price action. So I'll move it up. Right. And I got to move this now because that doesn't make any sense. Okay. So like everybody does trend lines differently. I'm no different. I do it my own way. That's the way I do it. There are some rules to trend lines, but for the most part, it's it's an art. You have to be comfortable with your own TA to do it. If you just want to stick with like a hard line base rule, just like always use wicks or always use bodies, one or the other, but don't go back and forth. And then, there's nothing to think about. That's just price is price, right? So you don't have to worry about it. So anyway, now that you have that, you got your one side break, push, accumulation towards the bottom, push, accumulation towards the top, push, accumulation to the bottom, expect, push, accumulation to the top, look for break, right? All patterns like this, they should all break between 50 and 75% of their pattern. So like technically speaking, this pattern didn't really start till, well, really here. There's your apex right there. So you say 94 bars, right? Here's your center line. So between 50 and 75, this thing should break for a quality pattern. Any closer than that, and the quality diminishes. And if you just bleed out of the apex, you have an invalid pattern anyway. So it could still do crazy things, but it would be invalidated. All right, so a 4-hour chart, what we want to look for is how's price behaving. So massive sell-offs, massive stop hunts, accumulations with huge drops and buybacks, sell-offs, buyback, sell-off. So you just have these areas here, like this one in particular, that's really interesting. Just the way the sellers are treating it and the way the buyers are treating it. Then you got this huge break to the upside, almost tried to do a reverse BART, came back up, consolidated for a little bit. You can see this right here. So price came up and then broke south. Okay, price came up, good, broke south. Just like that. Another triangle. Break south. You get the little sandwich pattern here, the hamburger, south again. Another higher low, lower high, all the way. Another break to the south side. So lots of breaks to the south side. We don't see a whole lot of breaks to the upside. Back over here, support, down, push. This is all buying, right? Okay, good. Everything's under the 7.9, push and break. Above, 7.9 is good. Crossover on the 20 is good. And now we have support. So I'm cool. You're creeping up right here on the 70 EMA. But I would expect a push and break, especially if we get something good out of Bitcoin, push and break here, get out, stopped out at the 100. So expect like this move to be your pullback down, right back for the retest. And then you're looking upward from there. Okay. Now, again, this is on a 4-hour chart. So, all this could happen, relatively quickly. Cool. Yeah. No, maybe you hate XRP. It was under lazy trades. Oh, for Adam, if it's under lazy trade, then it's just like set it and forget it. It's like, it's like a 90-day hold trade. Basically, you should be expecting a decent upside, and certainly more profit than if you were sitting in the sidelines. But it's nothing that you really have to babysit. You know what I mean? You don't have to you don't need to care about current price action, especially on like a 4-hour chart. You don't even have to look at the daily for something like that. Yeah, we're good. All right, cool. I know JC ran across Loom, but can you work it over? Oh, man, you want me to contradict him? Oh, dude. This dude's going to get me in trouble, man. Thanks a lot, Regal. All right, let's see what we see here. There's 4-hour chart, so let's go to the 24. Okay, so areas I have of interest. All right, so we had, monster accumulation, 105 days of accumulation. Pretty intense. That same accumulation zone did become our big double bottom zone. That was our push, break to the upside. So I like to get these Because, I like interesting things. I look for a 1, 2, 1, 4, and 1, 6 over here. 1, 4, 1, 6. And I like to see what kind of reaction we got at the 1, 2. So we're just going to throw those on for now. We'll get back to those in a minute. All right. So then we broke out of range. Pretty nice overall. Okay. Not loving these wicks on a daily chart. It's pretty aggressive trading without really getting all too much accomplished. But, it is what it is. So if you were doing, let's see, you broke out of range here. Good. Let's see this move right here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Front run that 4-2. I wonder if did I place it right? Yeah, I did. All right. So front run the 4-2 off of this move, right? Which this was your indication of reversal. You only would have known that after this break right here, this massive candle. But reverse fib flop right on the high low before the break, push up and you target each one of these, right? 1, 6, 2, 6, 3 you can, or you can skip. You can see if you played the 3, 6, you would have got it right here or here or here. And the 4-2, but again, you want to front run a little bit. Enough front run and you would have been tagged out. But if not enough front run, I mean, you have to be really tight on that. Like when you say like 2081, don't play 2081, play like 2071. So if you did that, 2072, you still wouldn't have made it, but it was close. All right, anyway. What I look for is how the chart behaves, right? Before I really get down here, because just looking at it blind doesn't, whatever, anybody could just look at it blind. I like to know what do the traders do here? What's their deal? Like, what do they respect? Do they respect fibs? Do they respect geometry? Do they like math? Yeah, they sure do. Look at that. 1, 5. That's good. All right, cool. Yeah. Solid break, push, support line. All right, so again, I got major levels that I look at. Bang, this right here. And you can make it as big or as small as you need, just when you're drawing it out. You can always clean it up later. But that, to me, is the most important level in this segment, right? A break and close above here opens up the opportunity to trade back up in here. Before you do that, you don't have any opportunity to get over here, or more importantly, back to range. Why? Well, because we know that buyers and sellers really liked this area for a really long time. Okay. So now that we have that, we have a target zone, we have something to look at. Now we can zoom in a little more and see what we got. What was once support right here, it's now resistance right here, and accumulation on the way down. Daily chart. So you spent 1, 2, 3 days there. It's important. All right, big push down, new support level, bottom support, push up, resistance, fall back down, new level. So that level, that's our middle red. All right, so that's our 1414. That's our 1618. Further downside, that's what I'm targeting. All right, support level break above, good push, drop down, found support. So again, I like this. I'm going to temporarily put it on the chart till we get a better idea on what's going on. All right, you see when we came up here, that was a failure to even attempt that level. We did it here, failed it here. All right, what does that tell you? Bulls got weaker. Look at the bull turnaround this time. Garbage. Bull turnaround this time. Strong. Strong? Not strong. Bulls are getting weaker. But the bears aren't getting really any stronger. The move from here is pretty similar to the move from here. All right, so it'd be a different story if the bulls got really weak, and the bears got really strong. You see the nosedives. See those giant candles. All right, so then we push back up again. So now this level becomes topside resistance. We'll make that yellow because everything else is red. Topside resistance meaning this is your swing high that created the low of your current price action, or at least that's what I call it. All right. And there's probably some confirmation of that over here, probably the swing. So this swing low here, take a look at that wick. Probably similar. It's similar, but it's not the same. So we'll leave it there for now. Whatever, we'll put it right there. All right, so now drop back down again. A good push up, right? Accumulation on the 7 and 9 EMA, crossover from the 20. So we do have a similar situation right here, except this came at the tail end after a reversal, right? And this is coming with, we already got the reversal and then 2 more days of buying, right? This was reversal and the very next day after the cross was a dump. This is crossover and the very next day was buying. And the day after that was buying. And then so far today is buying, right? So that's what you want to look at. So this is okay for a quick turnaround. Low side, high, higher low, good support zone here. See how price was never able to close underneath here? And then it was the launch pad of your big candle. It's a 7% candle. Not only the launch pad of a big candle, it's the candle that broke and closed above your 7-9 EMA and your 20 all in one shot. So that level is strong. Strong level. Green. All right, trend. Let's do something like that. Ish. That looks good. All right, level on the inside, interior levels. Right there. This. Okay, before this happened, this would have been my go line. My go line meaning we break and close above this line, that's what we buy. Right? Then, you know, of course, depending on some other price action, but you know, this is the main first tier level of resistance. Right? Your secondary first tier level of resistance is the high off the reversal. Low, high. Body high is because body closed because we're on a daily chart. These are very important levels. This is the high because, well, that's the freaking high. Then you come down, you made a new low right here, and it's been buying ever since on the low side. All right, so low side's good, support's good. Resistance, tough. Failed, well, right here. Failed, 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 failed. Failed, didn't even try. Failed, 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 didn't even try. Broke. Wait a minute. What happened? Broke. Perfect. Now, I look for pullbacks on a 4-hour chart. You don't always get them. I'm aware of this. You got to look at how the coin reacts. In this situation, we got it. Break and close above. Buy the pullback. Right here. So that would have been your entry at 325. You always drop the entry down, at least I do on a 4-hour chart, back to the 7-9. So generally back to the 9. So you could have bought the 9 line, the 9 line, the 9 line, the 9 line. All right. It's dangerous to go all the way back to the 20, but I do like it. And some charts really respect it after like a break above, like accumulation. Some of them really respect it. This one didn't. So, you front run it a little bit, and that's fine. Targets. Now, we already have, like I said, we already did all this other work to get all these other lines on here to make our chart really hard to read, because that's what we like to do. Now that you have something to look at, take your high side, take your low side, which is actually here, and now you can look for some confirmation. High side, low side. What do you got? See that yellow line that happens to be exactly on the 423? It's perfect. Now, the grand scheme of things, right? The big target zone. See, now we could tighten that up on a 4-hour chart. Tighten that up. Again over here. Well, it's already pretty tight. That level right there, that's the overall goal. The problem is it's a little overzealous for this price action. You know what I'm saying? You're really asking for a lot when they haven't given you much to go with. Okay? Further downside, like this isn't the reversal that they write books about. All right? Is it different than this reversal? Yeah. But does it also share a quality? Sure. Sure it does. It's a reversal and a downtrend. It's counter trend. It's a counter trend play. It's inherently more risky. All right. So even though we want the 4-2, you got to be realistic. Say, okay, previous structure. This is a nosedive over here, by the way. Nosedive. All right. So previous structure right here is this. This little zone over here. Kind of got like a little double bottom-ish. You can like push up a little. You don't want to like get too aggressive in there, but like let yourself be known. And you go like downside. Yeah. Okay. 2618. All right. Well, that's reasonable. So 2618, we take this and take our 1.6, which is our target no matter what, and then we start looking at our MAs on the 24. So now we say, yeah, I know, I really do want that. Not 100% sure we're going to make that. So let me at least throw some profits out beforehand or see if we have anything that makes sense. Daily chart right here, 50 MA. All right. Right here, 70 EMA. 70 EMA we don't use a lot, or a lot of people don't use a lot. I do. 100 MA, all the way up here. Holy cow. That's a huge move. Now that's when you start talking about, potential local reversals where you're looking at bowling this whole thing out and coming all the way back to accumulation. All right. That's a monster move. Monster move. That's alt season move. It's huge. All right. It's not that it's impossible, but you just want to be realistic with your targets for now, right? You're very much in a downtrend. All right. So you look and you say, okay, what would we play here? We got a major level of support right over here. Flip it to resistance, right? That makes sense. First test of it looks good, right? This is your first area, 2618 on the local pole. I like it. 50 MA is an area of resistance. So this is an area where some traders will pull profits, allow it to kick back, similar to like what WAM was doing, similar to ICX the other day, right? You let it hit, You sell. You don't have to sell your whole portion. You might sell 30% of your position, right? Take some profits, pull it back, and then rebuy the pullback. Ooh, thanks. Rebuy the pullback with either more capital in that position or less, right? Take some of those profits, put it off to the side, and put the rest back in, right? And then you're back in the trade. Average out to a higher entry, but at the same token, you pulled profits, you raised stops, right? And you added to it. It's similar to like buying the dips on the way up. You know what I mean? It's no different. Next target area, this key area, 423, top of resistance, local side, swing high to the low that brought you your current move. That's the guy to look for. Confluence with the 423. Unfortunately, it's just, I would have loved if it actually matched this support and ended up becoming resistance at the same time, but it didn't. So, you know, such is life. But that would be the zone to look for on the bigger picture. If this thing really looks like it gets some steam, it gets some movement, and it really wants to start getting into trend, then that's, yeah. So I don't remember what Jacob had for his targets. I would imagine they're probably similar. Jacob is back.
348 was my top side.
348 top side. So
it was just a scalp. It was just a scalp.
Oh, so the 1618, like right about the 1618. Yeah, perfect. And that's what I was telling them before. I was like, this, you know, that is your target. But if it has steam,
had a nice little 3% pop since I posted it.
Yeah, it's buying today. We're on the daily chart, and that nug is already just as big as yesterday's buying.
Yeah, it's looking good.
So it looks healthy. I like we broke it down from like inception. Well, not really. We broke it down from here. But yeah, looks good. I like it.
CVC looking sexy.
Did you syndicator?
No, CVC.
Oh, CVC.
Yeah, CVC just I was gonna put. I went through all my charts today and I was looking for breakout trades, and CVC looked pretty good. It just had this nice little breakout, and then it retested and was kind of holding this support. So I was just gonna set like a little 3% scalp, and this thing just did frickin'
just a little scalp, huh?
38%, man.
Jesus.
Somebody's pumping. I think these are like exit pumps of these old little 2017 coins, but. Yeah, I had this nice little test of the RSI and then the
dude
hourly. Yeah, going pretty crazy here. Okay, what were some other stuff I was watching? Dusk had a nice little breakout.
Hello.
On its way to T1, which was about when did we buy? We bought at right around like 1610, I think. So yeah, 12% is the top side, 1800. Little sell off there. Juan actually had a nice little breakout after the daily close, pulled back and then popped another 17%. This thing is just does not want to die.
What?
Yeah. So if you guys are gonna trade Juan chain like this, what you want to do is you want to tick down to the 5-minute, throw all your moving averages up there. Because it's in a parabolic trend, right? So then you want to find what is this reacting to the most. Here you can see it was supported by the 20 like the whole time. So you can buy these little small pullbacks, you know, scalp 4%, exit the trade. Pulls back to the 20, scalp 4%, exit the trade. Okay, it breaks on this one. So you can do that. You can take a look at the 15-minute, see if it's being respected here at all. You can see the 20 MA was holding it up once, twice, then the 50. And now it's the 20 again. So, you know, pull back to the 20. You can look lots of different things. You can change this RSI to a 2 period. And you can look at the, let's see how well this works on the 5-minute. Okay, so yeah, around the sub 5. So you can set an alert sub 5. So these are nice little scalp opportunities. Let's see how well this works out. No, okay, let's take this up to 15 minutes. Let's see if this works a little bit more accurate. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so on the 15-minute 2 period RSI, so you just change the settings right here. You know, see this? You can get boom right there. You would have gotten this candle sitting right on that 50 MA. right here, sub 5, you would have gotten this candle. Boom, right here, you would have gotten this candle. You know, right here, you would have gotten this candle. So, you know, this is just a quick strategy, 15-minute, 2-period RSI in a massive uptrending move like this. You can sell when it, you know, closes above 70. You know, if you want to trail your stop, you can do that as well. But the key is just getting in and out and making sure you just lock in a profit, lock in a profit, lock in a profit. And then you can just take as many of these as you want. You can see on the 15-minute, this is working really well. So you want to wait for this to come back down. You want to wait for this to come back down, touch our, you know, sub 5 level, buy in here, and then set your stop, and then sell it when it ggets back above. So, you know, just looking at these charts, you can kind of come up with your own strategies to do these things. 15-minute, this one's not as well because it's not trending. But if we look at CVC, we could probably see, okay, so, all right, we got this one down here. This one, let's see. This one here gave us a nice little wick. This one here. This one just doesn't have much volume. It's better to work on other ones. Okay, so we did hold our 76 level on Sealer. We're at the 78 level, so we did bounce off that 76. So we did not have to close that, and it looks like we're trying to reclaim our 50 MA support, but it did hold our 100 MA. So very, very solid there. We bounced off the 20, so that was a good buy-in zone. As long as that held, again, we did hold, and that's what I said. We wanted to make sure we held on the daily and bounced from the 76 to 78. Let's take a look at FET before we sign off here. So 631, still middle of the road. Again, I'm looking at this nice rounding structure. I'm expecting a breakout here in the next day or two. Some of those you got to just be really patient with. Let's see, anything else? Aeon kind of selling down a little bit. ICX selling down a little bit after that resistance. Ravens pulling back off the 50 MA. We can look for Raven to come back down, hopefully, to this 20 MA. And then anything else you guys wanted me to cover before we signed off? I'm trying to post as many setups as I can. Take as many as you want. Take as few as you want. If you're new to trading, you know, just kind of get a feel for it. Make sure you're managing your risk. And the biggest thing is, like, if Bitcoin breaks out, you know, just be prepared to just close trades quickly. Like, there's always new trades. If you don't feel comfortable, if you're over leveraged or if you're overexposed, just close them down. You know, sometimes we might not be at the chart the exact moment that Bitcoin breaks out, so use some discretion. And it's better to just close around break even if Bitcoin's looking like it's gonna like move really, really hard. So, you know, cut losers as quick as possible. That's one of the things that I've learned, in my trade journal. Definitely reflects that. When I cut losers really, really quickly, I become much more profitable. KNC BTC did well 2 days ago. Yeah, man, that crushed it. Now we're consolidating the 5-minute. Let's take a look. Yeah, between my setups, it was between KNC and Yuan chain. They looked like identical setups, and I set KNC, but I didn't send Yuan. But KNC is above the 50, looking pretty solid. A little sell down here, but next target would be up 33%, 2260 level. So if you want to just trail your stops, you can do that. Lock in those profits. But, you know, it's looking pretty strong for a continuation. A lot of these are just coming out of oversold bounces. Raven, is there anything else I was looking at? Let me check my list. No, not too much. I think that was about it. I'm going to go back down to this really quick. The biggest thing is just we're just in like a really, really tight range. So if you want, you can also scalp this range. I'd probably go like here. So just, you know, buy, you know, sell, short, buy, short, buy. Let's see if the 2-period average works for this one as well. Not so well on the 15-minute. You need more trending coins for the 2-period RSI. This is not bad. 5-minute gave you here, You can just sell when it crosses the above the 20 MA. You know, buy on here, sell when it crosses the 20 MA, buy here, sell when it crosses the 20 MA. So all these are just different like short-term strategies that you can develop on your own, and then you can backtest them with the TradingView backtester. But those are just a few of them. Anything else, Mr. Chingus? Was that about it?
Yeah, I mean that's about it. You know, we talked about dominance a little bit while you were away, and we talked about the flatline Bitcoin not doing much, not really buying or selling, just printing a doji right now.
Yeah, if you guys watched our last live stream that we did publicly, we were literally right at 9,800, and I said, you know, what I'm looking at for Bitcoin is 9,800. And I said this right at the end of the live stream, 9,800 to 10,400, 10,400, back down. Now, if we break out here, I could see, like I said, a potential high of about 10,600. But if we break out there, that's when, you know, much better to log on a breakout here. And he wants EOS BTC.
EOS.
5 minute, that doesn't look great. Hourly. Here's your buy zone right here on the hourly. We've got 100, 200, you know, coming up to cross. This was, you know, resistance, resistance, resistance. This is our first test. So you could be like a blind buyer at 350. And then, you know, stop below here. If you want like a loose stop, you can come all the way back down here. Target back above the high. That's on the hourly. But you could see that pretty easily. And that lines up with the 50 MA. Almost, I mean, too good. 50
yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Comes right across. So I mean that's probably what it's looking to tag. The lowest MA here. We're getting a 2000 cross. We had a 2050 cross. So this just looks like a standard issue pullback. And if we put up a fib that's looking right about the 50 fib. Oh, my 50 fib is gone. Who took my 50? So let me use this lower wick here. Yeah, so we are right on the 50 fib there. Possible pullback to 61.8. I don't see that. I think the 50 MA is probably the where it's going to pull back to, and then it'll bounce from there. And again, you can just set your targets pretty small. Let's take a look at the 30 minute. That's not showing much. 15 minute, we are pretty low. We're at 6. Let's see how historically accurate this has been. Not great. Take a look at the 5, see if there's anything there. 5, not much better. 30 minute, not really. Let's go to the hourly. See if that's giving us one there. Nope. So 2 RSI doesn't work too well for this, but mostly because it's just choppy. It's not super trending. AGI BTC. Cool, man. Look at that. This is actually looking pretty good right here for entry. It's in a range. We're sitting on the 200 EMA, showing, you know, previous support coming out of the buy zone on the 4 hour. Looking pretty strong. Obviously, you've got a clear invalidation level, which is like basically this 200 moving average. Once it broke it back to here, it has not been retested. So you can bet that the confluence of 200, 100, and 200 EMA are pretty strong. We're above 50 on the RSI. This thing, you know, probably head up here. You can also add in the stochastic indicator and see how that looks. It gives you a little bit of a different picture. And it looks like we're about to get a cross on the bottom here. And last time we got a cross, we got the same bounce out of this range. So AGI looks like a great setup for a scalp here. Let's take a look at the daily. We might be coming up on like the 20 or something. Yeah, 20's above the 50. Nice and strong up here. We have this lower support down here. Kind of just a nice solid consolidation range. I think probably this next test, we've tested this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. The more times you test a resistance or a support, the weaker it becomes. So this time it'll probably just, whoops, grab my arrow here. So probably just push right through. So yeah, this is a great setup, man. Good find, Matt. Do you want me to look at anything more specific about it? Ideally, so this 100 MA is coming right down on that trend line. You can see it here. Once we break that 100 MA, then 200 EMAs are our next target on the daily. And stochastic daily, I mean, it's crossing to the downside, but RSI is moving up, and we've got this nice little momentum kind of shifting to the upside. But 4 hour looks great for a little 8%, 12% trade. And it's got a nice little buy reaction, but even just 7%, 8%, it looks pretty relatively safe. I would probably set it up something like, I mean, I'd even like, I think market buying here is fine, but 6.5% down. And then I'd be looking at 18, 19% to the top side for 2.7 R. Yeah, looks good though, man. Once you get up here, you can cut 50% of your position, make 3.5% on the trade, and then move your stop up into profit underneath this 50 MA or something, just to kind of hedge it. I wouldn't kind of like hold all the way back down just because the bottom side's been tested as well. Let me see if there's anything else. Let me bring up my volume scanner. Loom's moving nicely up 2%. On the intraday scalp, let's see. Let me check my charts really quick. I had one that I was looking at. Raven. Nope. One. I think that was about it. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at 60-minute volume real quick. See if anything's popping off out of the unusual. One. BNB still has some pretty decent 60-minute volume. Metal's got a lot of volume. ONT is actually popping off pretty hard.
ONT is moving. ONT GTO is moving.
ONT is
moving a little bit. Got a little volume.
Fourth in volume right now. Okay, so we had a
engine was cruising.
Okay, so we had a really nice pop on the daily closing here. You could even argue that we had a breakout retest here. Sitting on the 20 MA. We just broke the 100 MA, getting some sell-off now. Stochastic kind of mid-range, trying to hold a bullish control zone on stochastic. This looks like it might have, put in a little bit of a bottoming structure. Usually when ONT goes, we usually see ONG go. So this is a little bit of a laggard right now. Stochastic pointing down, RSI moving up. Kind of a middle mixed range here, but usually when ONT goes, ONG goes. So if ONT continues to bump up, this could be a good trade to take. Let's see the RR on this guy. Very, very obvious and clear invalidation level, 6.8%. Topside target would be 15%. If it can get above that 100 MA. So what I would do is I would wait for one more test down. Right here, we are getting a 20-50 cross, and those are usually pretty bullish though. So you could ladder in, 25% here, 25% here, or sorry, 33 of your position, and then just set a stop below this invalidation level, because if that breaks, then that thing's heading pretty far down. Anything else? Mana. Oh, Mana's popping off 7%. These 2017 coins, I like it. Some nice little market pumps. I'm going to have to open up my little field of vision here. Mana, terrible RR where we're at. We've only got 4% left on this move. ENJ was a trade that I gave yesterday. It actually came back twice. For anybody that's in it, we're pushing against this resistance here, but I think this will push through and head to target one. Dusk breaking out, up 4 or 5% now. Let's see. Yeah, lots of trades that are doing well. As long as Bitcoin consolidates. Again, if it breaks out, then just make sure you take profits on these trades that are up for you, so you don't give that back. Stochastic looks like we're getting across here on the 4 hour here pretty soon. But stochastic is interesting because it can do this for a while. See this right here? A lot of people are like, oh, stochastic's oversold, but look where it was oversold at. It can actually make power moves at the top side here. Same thing back here. So stochastic, it can kind of stay up there. I think this just shows the strength of a trend. And on the 4-hour, it's showing definite strength, but we got some hardcore resistance here, waiting for our pullback. So yeah, hopefully you guys find these helpful. Yeah, everything's looking pretty solid. Again, I'm just sending out some little quick fire rapid trades, and we've got BAT, FET, and yeah, BAT's on its way, 1950.
Bat's cruising.
Yeah,
Bat's
BAT's
doing
looking solid.
well.
Had a nice little buyback. Sealer back at 78, so mid range of the entry. Yeah, so if you want more trades, guys, just look at the Discord channels. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you guys. Oh wait. Matic. Somebody was asking about Matic. This is kind of like last bastion here. We're kind of like a little bit. We're on the 50 MA. We're pushing like the 5 zone. Stochastic looks like it wants to kind of test lower, so I'd probably look to be a buyer at like 140. But the real key support here was also the 200 MA. So 130 we could get a pullback to 130 to kind of really take a bunch of people out. Yeah, so 130 is probably where I'd look based on stochastic, like a quick breakdown. But we did have the breakout here, so let's see where that goes. Yeah, that goes right down to that 130 zone. So that makes the most sense to me. 130, it'll kind of slow grind down there. All right, cool, guys. Make sure you give some props to Chinggis in Discord. Let him know if you find his analysis helpful. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I might not be on tomorrow. I think I might spend some time with the wifey. It's a Saturday. Get a little wifey time. Got to take some breaks from the charts. So if I'm not on tomorrow, I think Chinggis will be able to handle it. And if we aren't going to be able to do it, then I will definitely send a message out and just kind of let you guys know. So, and I'll try and do that earlier in the day. All right, guys. I will catch you later.